Craig Smoak.
You know, there's a lot of names that we have brought up over recent months and really over the last year with SicEm365 Radio with the men's basketball championship run, and a lot of guys who put up a bunch of points, Vinnie Johnson, Terry Teagle, among others. Aundre Branch averaged 16 points a game in his 4 years at Baylor, and that's after he averaged just a couple of points a game when he was a freshman. He joins us now. He's the head coach at Caney Creek High School in the Conroe School District on SicEm365 Radio. Man, you filled it up back then, and do you feel like sometimes, Aundre, you're not forgotten, but maybe that not enough credit for how good you were at Baylor?
Hey, it is what it is, man. I mean, all I can do is just appreciate the opportunity that I got to even get an opportunity to play college basketball, and being an outstanding player in high school and got to Baylor. It actually, woke me up to say, hey, I need to go in the gym and work and get some stuff, improve on some stuff. And if you look at what I did at Baylor, I don't think there's ever happened in probably college basketball for what I did. I mean, I scored 1,000 points, and it took me 2 years. It didn't take me long.
No, you averaged 18, then 19, then 22 points a game. And you almost didn't finish Baylor, did you? I mean, not because of academics, but because of the coaching change in probation?
Yeah, I was actually going to leave my first year, and then the coaching switch came in with Darryl Johnson taking over, and he reached out to me and just promised me that, hey, you coming back to Baylor, you're going to be able to do this and do that. And so I sat and talked with my parents about it because I was looking to go somewhere else. And I came back, and he said, hey, you got to work. And I knew that wasn't going to be a problem. And his word was true. I mean, he used to tell me, Aundre, if you don't shoot the ball 20 times a game, I'm pulling you out. You shoot too good to not. And he would do it in the game, would just pull me out if I didn't shoot the ball. So he didn't have to tell me one more time. I mean, I was letting it go.
That's always music to a guard's ears, is shoot the ball more. Aundre, what was it like for you watching Baylor's run to the national championship this year?
It was exciting to see this year for them to get an opportunity to actually win. And then I've been following them over the years, even though I went off to go play professionally, and coming back home, just happy to be part of this history of getting these young guys where they at now to now finally hang the trophy. And then I went to the parade, and I had my daughter with me, and I took her, and I grabbed and hugged, and I was like, wow, this is what all my hard work, what I did here at Baylor, represented, give these young men an opportunity to actually raise that trophy. And so it stuck my heart.
How important was that for you and other former players, that there was so much from Scott Drew and the coaches that was about not only the run that these current guys were on, but also including the former players like yourselves who helped lay the foundation, which we saw, big time at the parade with all the guys that showed up?
That was a huge class act for Scott and the program to invite us in and actually have us to be part of the parade. That was even bigger for us to walk down in the parade. And, a lot of the fans were seeing us. And you got to remember, I haven't been on Baylor's campus in about 20 plus years. And some of the fans remember who I was. And, back then I had hair and I don't have hair now. And they still remember who I was. And a bunch of the ex-players that was there prior to me, just to see that shows how big our Baylor family is. But that was awesome for the Baylor program to have us to be there with the players. That was great.
So what was it like being back near campus, on campus for the first time in 20 plus years? Waco's a little different. Baylor's a little different, huh?
Everything about it is different. I used to come back to Waco a lot. I would come and, meet up with some of the players at Baylor because me and Coach Tane, we knew each other from Houston, and Coach Brooks also. So they allowed me to come down and work with some players. And when I was playing with the Globetrotters, I would always come back too. But it seems like every year the whole city looks different. The campus definitely looks different. And walking on campus is just like, wow, look at this. But I wish we'd have had some of those resources that these guys have now. It would be great.
Aundre Branch with us on SicEm365 Radio. You just had an opportunity to take over a program for the first time. You've been coaching at Caney Creek for I think the last 4 years. You told me on a couple of text messages you were hired at the end of May for your first head coaching job. What was that like, And what responsibilities do you feel? It's now your program.
I came to Caney Creek High School in June of 2017. I was actually in the car business before that, and I had to pass the certification test. As soon as I passed it, I just started blasting my my resume out, and the head coach that was there, he had just recently gotten the job like a week before I came in. So we both came in together and put our heads together and started getting the program built up, and then an opportunity came for him, and I took over. But sitting there at that desk, when they called me in, they said, "Hey, you need to get to the office like ASAP." And so we sat down. I was like, "Okay, they're going to tell me they didn't give it to me." So I was just embracing myself. And so they was like, "Hey, look, we want you to be our next head coach." And my heart just jumped out because I always wanted to be a head coach. And most importantly, it was just 3 weeks before that, me and Nelson Haggard, who just passed away, we just had a very long conversation because I was trying to figure out why couldn't I get an opportunity, what was holding me back, and he was just being a mentor to me. And so that's all I could think about was me and Nelson talking, and I couldn't give him a call to let him know that, hey, man, the prayers was answered. Like they finally got me. So it's still emotional right now.
When you heard about Nelson, what was your initial reaction other than shock?
Let's just say I was in California when I got the news, and security came to my room because they didn't know what was going on. I just screamed and hollered because me and Nell had just saw each other. We was at the parade together, and we just talked. And our last words was, "Man, be careful. We'll see each other down the road." I saw his daughters and things like that. And he texted when you get home. And that particular night, I never got a text from him. I didn't get a phone call from him. And I knew he was coming to Houston that same weekend, so we was going to get together and have dinner. And to get that call, it's just, I still to this day, I can't believe it, that it happened.
Aundre Branch, former Baylor guard, and someone who could fill it up, no question about it, for Baylor in the 90s, with us, head coach at Caney Creek High School and SicEm365 Radio.
Aundre, what did you learn about basketball when you were with the Globetrotters? Because it's more, it's such a huge show, and it's a part of our American fabric of entertainment now. But being an ambassador for the game and getting kids enthusiastic about basketball in maybe a way that is very unconventional to what you would normally think.
Yeah, when I first got with the Globetrotters, I couldn't believe that I had an opportunity to play for a team that introduced basketball to me. And then getting a chance to go out and just entertain and bring families together, having that role and responsibility of having true character and doing all the professional things you need to do as a basketball player, and representing such a huge organization that, probably about only 600 players I've had the opportunity to play for, and it's a very unique group. So getting a chance to come out and play and just showcase my skill each and every night of shooting the basketball and laughing and having fun, all the things I love to do. And I got a chance to do it for 8 years. And then on top of that, I was upgraded to become an advanced ambassador, which means I go out in front of the team before they come to the city. And I do all the speaking engagements, schools, charities, whatever we need to do. And then I come back and play. So that was a huge honor to go out and represent the team like that.
How many places did being a member of the Globetrotters take you?
I've been to 59 countries while being with the Globetrotters.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 passports.
Wow. That's cool though, right?
Yeah.
What a life experience that is. You've seen so many things in so many different places that even people who try to travel that much will never be able to see. So how is that help shape your character, help shape you as a person, seeing, outside of just the walls of our own country?
It was, like I said, just a humbling feeling just to be be even considered. There's a lot of basketball players out there in this world. I've met them and seen them, and even when I came to camp, it was over 100 guys at training camp, and they only kept 2 of us. So they were looking for something very unique, and of course, basketball is one thing. And then the second thing is, who you are as an individual and a person. And that, I assume that's what it separated me from everybody else, is who I am as a person. And, man, going out and all the countries I've been to and some of the exclusive places I got a chance to go that, the average person probably have to pay, but I was just there spending the basketball, smiling and having fun. that was huge. I think one of the places when I went to Afghanistan, and we went to one of Saddam Hussein's actual houses that they turned to a hotel. So I was like, wow, just, blown away, like getting a chance to see those type of things just by playing the game of basketball.
So wait a minute. So you played professionally before the Globetrotters. You went to Venezuela, China, Turkey, France, Spain, and Dominican Republic. And then you went to like 50 more countries after that?
Yes. I did. So it was the way they discovered me. So the Globetrotters used to play against colleges, professional teams. They actually competed before they would do their entertainment season. Training camp was here in Houston, so we always at the Houston Funded Recreation Center, well known here in Houston. And I go there every morning and work out, and you got all the NBA players, overseas guys in there playing, and they picked me out then, but I was still under contract in Spain at the time. So I told them once I come back, we can sit down and talk. And I talked to my daughter at the time, and she was turning 5, and I told her mom, I said, hey, look, if she turns 5, I will slow down with the traveling. I'll try to find something here in the States. And it just so happened, boom, the Globetrotters called me. And what really got me was the fact that it wasn't the money. It was just more or less what it produced for my family, health insurance and things like that. I got a daughter, and I was paying everything out of pocket. So I was like, health insurance, and then for the amount of money they was giving me just to stay home. And plus I'm home. It's like, you can't beat that. And I have guys ask me all the time, like, man, why are you playing with the Globetrotters? Man, I'm in there with NBA guys, and they say, hey, what do you play? I say, I play with the Globetrotters. They say, what? So I say, man, look, it's a choice. I mean, I'm talented enough to go on the NBA level, but it just didn't work out for me. I choose to be here, to go out and just play every single day and go to every different city to bring, different families together, people going through situations. And my job is, by the time they come out of there, to put them in a better position when they leave. And that's what I loved about it.
I was a kid and saw the Meadowlark and Curly Neal and all them back in the day. This would have been back when I was a kid in Virginia in the early 70s. Is there anything more almost like American or red, white, and blue than the Globetrotters?
Nothing close other than the American flag. That's about it. And that was the key thing about our colors, because we want to go out and just show everyone that, hey, America's a good place. There's some countries that Americans can't even go into, and the Globetrotters are there to break those barriers down, to let them know that, hey, not everybody's bad. You may have some situations or misunderstandings, but we used to bring countries together just by playing a game of basketball. And I'm just glad to be part of that history. I mean, it's a very historical team, and I don't think that the Globetrotters get enough credit for what they've done for basketball and American history just by the game of basketball.
Now, obviously, you probably could spin a basketball, but how much do you have to practice that, as much as you guys do all the tricks and everything, the stuff that you could already do, and then level it up for performance level every night?
I mean, we practice every single day, every single day, and I play close to 200 games a year. So I'm practicing every single day, sometimes twice on Saturdays and Sundays. So a lot of times when I look at on TV and I see some of these guys, they talk about they sitting out games for load management and they sprain a finger or broke a nail or something. They sitting out for 2 months for that. And I'm like, man, y'all couldn't make it playing with us. And, we had a couple of NBA guys that actually came and played with us. And some of them was like, man, we did not know that you guys worked that hard. Like, it's different. The respect went up once they was able to put our jerseys on the seat. We had to do night in and night out, and you have to be on your game. It's not like, you have an off game. So put that time in, and every single day I'm at the gym, I'm getting up 1,000 shots before the game and working on all our craft. I mean, that's what I did every single day, regardless of if I was here in the United States or if I was in France or wherever we was going. We had to do it every single day.
Yeah, I think one of the things that a lot of times gets overlooked is how really good you guys were, and that you could compete with pretty much anybody. Everyone looked at it as at times, because it was entertainment, the half-court shots and all the music and all that. but you guys were really, really good. Did you want sometimes, and you mentioned you played against college or even some pro teams, did you want sometimes, you wish you could have gotten into a league for just a year and see how it would have worked out?
Of course. That was always a thought, but once I had got to that level of not chasing that NBA dream, I pretty much was settled for where I was at. I mean, my last shot was in 2000 with the Houston Rockets, and then once I didn't make it there, I just say, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and just continue to do this here, and if God blessed me with another opportunity, then I would take it. But that was pretty much it in 2000. It seemed like every year I had an opportunity to get an NBA look, get invited to camp. It was either NBA lockout, and then for myself in '98, I had I tore my patella tendon in my knee, and that was a life changer for me. So I felt like it was just, you know, I don't think it's what God had for me. I think the Globetrotter side is what He wanted me to do. I got a chance to see the world. I got a chance to change somebody's lives. I got an opportunity to you know, introduce basketball to kids as the Globetrotters did to me when I was a child. So I think that's what He had in store for me, and I embraced it, and I was able to do it for 8 years, and now I'm here at Canyon Creek, and it's the same thing. It's like I've been through the high school thing, and I've been through the whole college thing, and I've been through the whole professional side of it, and now I can show these guys, hey, look, this is what it's going to take, because I didn't have that guidance when I was coming up. I was just doing it because I wanted to survive. It was either me going to college or me in these streets here in Houston, Texas. So I chose basketball, and it worked out for me.
You know, Aundre, you mentioned the rec center in Houston, Fondy Rec Center in Houston. Can you imagine an all-star team that would come out of there, and how good that team? You mentioned there's an article by Jerry Hill. This is like 5 years ago. I happened to catch it on Google. Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Moses Malone was there, Gary Payton, Aundre Branch. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, to be in the gym with those guys and seeing the respect that they were giving me, and I wasn't an NBA labeled player, but if I walked in the gym, I would be on the floor before any NBA guy. So to have that, and then like you said, hey, did you ever dream about going to the NBA? And you see, like, man, what is it about me that I can't at least just get a shot? And I think not getting a shot was worse than anything. And then also, like, the stuff that happened at Baylor when I was playing there, I read the articles, I see some of the stuff or whatever, and all I can do was every day was represent Baylor University. We went through so much, 3 head coaches and over 19 assistants. And then the whole situation that happened with the young men after we left there. But prior to that, my junior and senior year, we were on probation. Like, we was playing for pride. We couldn't go to the Southwest Conference tournament. And so I was just playing games. And even that last year, my senior year, me and Nelson, we was going to transfer it in because we felt like we was getting penalized for something we wasn't involved in. And I didn't think it was fair, but I told Nell, you know what? We've been here for 4 years. These fans want to see us, man. And every single day we had fans in the stand giving us a standing ovation because we played our hearts out, although the record didn't show. But every game we competed hard, and teams were happy to get out of that gym with a victory. So just to do that and you know, show that Baylor pride, that was great for us.
And y'all went through all that, and now they're the national champions, and they beat arguably, you know, what everybody is saying is like one of the greatest teams of all time. What was going through your mind? I know you kind of spoke on it earlier, but what was going through your mind as you watched that national championship game and it just kind of settled in, like where you guys were so many years ago to where the program is now?
You can see the big difference. I think what I've seen more on that floor was a team effort more than individual effort. Guys was playing together, and they, you know, held each other accountable, and at the same time, they shared the stage with each other. You know, me and Nell, we talked about that all the time. Like, why couldn't we do this? Why couldn't we do that? I mean, we was individuals. You know, our mentality was totally different back then. It was like, no, I got to be the man. I got to get all the highlights, as opposed to we got to get the highlights. And that's where those guys has played that every single night. And watching what they did through this whole tournament, I was just sitting there just like, hey, I'm over here stretching. I'm texting Coach Drew, man, put me in. I want some of that too. The way they just controlled that game and dominated, it was unbelievable. And I think I think that last year when we were down here in Houston, and I'm talking about Baylor, when we played Duke and we had that game won, and the whole situation with Quincy Acey, and they took that game away. I think that was the payback right there of us fighting all the negative talk and fighting this and fighting that. And, you know, Drew and all his coaching staff, they all just kept pushing like we're going to get it. And it was our time. And I really think last year, had we finished the season out, I think we'd have won that one too, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, getting a chance to come to parade, I know I'm fast forwarding, but meeting those two guys, Donovan Mitchell and Jared, meeting those guys and sitting down and talking to them and just giving my praise to them and telling them how much I enjoy watching them play. And, you know, some of the stuff I saw them do, it was like I have a young kid that reminds me of Donovan Mitchell and like, hey, this can be you. You just got to put your mind to it. So I get a chance to actually be in the same room with those guys, and they welcome me in, they thank me. And I mean, someone was like, hey man, I heard about you. You know, I was like, well, I heard about you too. So, but I've been following Baylor. I've been following the Baylor women to see both programs excel like they have been doing. And even the football program, you know, Baylor sports is now, when you start talking about prestigious schools, you know, you can speak about North Carolina, you can speak about Duke, but Baylor is going to be on that list for years to come.
Aundre was a part of and is a part of the Baylor Hall of Fame. You heard the great stories about his pro career overseas, also the Globetrotters, humble Kingwood High School that won a state championship a few years after you graduated, which I know was a thrill for you. Aundre, thank you very much for reminiscing and also just kind of talking about life, and good luck with your opportunity at Caney Creek.
Thank you guys very much, and I wish everyone well down in Baylor land, and sick and bad.
Yes, sir. Aundre Branch, the head basketball coach at Caney Creek High School from Kingwood High School.
Yeah, he was great. He was fantastic. Great to walk down memory lane with him, and good luck to him, you know, with coaching coming up. And sounds like he's in a good place, and just very interesting to get all the you know, kind of insight into the Globetrotters and what that life is like. But it's also just cool, like, especially guys that were here when Drew first arrived. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one thing for the guys in the 70s and the 80s, and I know they went through a lot too, but, like, for those scandal guys to see, you know, where the program was and to see where it is right now, like, I just can't even imagine what that must feel like. And that's why we always just want to hear more all the time, is, like, hear their thoughts, because it just has to – I mean, I don't think there are words to use to adequately describe what that probably feels like.
Well, when we had Tweety on last week, and I know we go against a break, and Craig's got some news and update on the young man from University High who was killed just a few weeks ago. It was almost like the Duke game was a cleansing of that moment. But we'll come back with more. Craig's got news on the young man from University High. Madden 20.